This past Thursday was kind of a sneaky day in the church here. One that we don't often talk about. It was Ascension Day, the festival where we celebrate Jesus going up into heaven. It's an event that we testify to every single time we say one of our creeds, yet we rarely take an opportunity to take a closer look at it. So I have to say that I was pretty excited when the women's Bible study tackled it when we met this last week. Everybody there agreed that we'd be awfully shocked and confused, like the disciples were if we'd been seeing this thing happen. Maybe just staring, perhaps with our mouths gaping open, going, "Did you guys just see what I saw?" Or maybe even, "Wait, Jesus, you're not done yet. Come back." So here's a little background that might explain a bit of the disciples' confusion. You see, just 40 days before Jesus ascended, he was resurrected from the dead. In that time, since then, he had appeared to his disciples on the road to Emmaus and in all other kinds of places. He's been preparing them for the ministry they would be about to do as they went out proclaiming to the world just how God broke into the world through the life, death, and resurrection of their teacher, friend, and Lord. But here's the thing. The disciples never seemed to get it. Even from way back in Jesus' time on earth, the disciples couldn't or wouldn't believe that Jesus would one day die and rise, and then call them to lead those who would also come to follow him later. And what we hear today from early on in the book of Acts, which is actually a second volume of sorts of the Gospel of Luke, is even more proof of the disciples' lack of understanding. It's almost like they're saying to Jesus, "Okay, this has all been interesting stuff to teach, but when are you going to get the Romans out of here? You know, when are you going to do that real Messiah thing?" They don't get it. And as Jesus ascends up above them, there they stand, mouths gaping, confused, distracted. Can we really blame them, though? They had had high expectations for Jesus. They'd been through so much with him, and now he was just gone. Well, not totally unlike Lucy from the Peanuts cartoon, some angels presumably show up and say, "You blackheads, don't worry about when Jesus will come back. It'll happen. Now close those mouths and get to work." There's no more time for distractions, but rather it's time to gather and to pray, and to prepare for what and who is to come, the Holy Spirit, and the fulfilling of the mission to go out to the ends of the earth to teach, preach, and baptize all nations, to be the church. So again, I ask, can we really blame them for being distracted by anything they saw that day or by anything that they had seen as they walked along with Jesus? We have our distractions too. Are we saying the right prayers on Sunday? Are our kids behaving in worship? Where are X, Y, and Z this morning, and why are they never here? Or perhaps other things are distractions for us right now. Maybe this morning we are living in fear of another attack or bombing. Maybe we have frustration at broken systems. Maybe we're experiencing the feeling of defeat that we have as we see so much that is wrong in our world. We have many things happening around us, things that take our minds all kinds of places. So perhaps this morning, we too sit here with our faces looking upward as we say, "Where did you go, Jesus? You're not done yet." In moments like that, maybe we find our own sort of angels, if we want to call them that. People who remind us that we not be too worried about the exact moment when Jesus will come again to reconcile all things. We need not worry because he is, in fact, still present with and for us. And the Holy Spirit has come amongst us to encourage us to look forward and not solely up as we look for the work and action of God. Indeed, the Spirit is working in and among us so that we can continue the early church's work of baptizing, teaching, and preaching. Continue the work of spreading the gospel and love and promises of Jesus Christ that are present for all people in all kinds of places and situations. You see, when Jesus ascended, he didn't leave the disciples to the world itself to figure it all out. We heard the promise of the coming of the Holy Spirit just last week. And today in John's Gospel, we heard Jesus praying for his disciples while he sat or stood in the midst of them. He prayed for their protection and for their unity in the days, months, weeks, however long to come. Now that happened before his death and resurrection. He knew things would be almost unbearable for them. And so he prayed and reassured them time and time again that they were not going off into the wild blue yonder on their own. That prayer in John's Gospel and this reminder that the disciples needn't be worried about when Jesus would return are for us too. In a big way, both of these things could be understood as something that might open up opportunities for us as we do what we have been tasked with. That is being the church here and now. Not worried about whether things are perfect or not in our pews or in the church this morning, but rather taking what the Holy Spirit has given us and doing something with the love, grace, hope, and assurance of God's presence in and through all things. All of those things we have been promised. Looking to the gifts and promises of God to help us feed the hungry, seek relief for the poor and the oppressed, and to pray for those who would try to do any bit of harm to another one of God's children. This past week, I've been pretty distracted by the news of the attacks in Manchester and in Egypt. I've sat in front of my computer and seen all of this negativity and hate being spewed in their ways. And I've asked, my God, why? As I've read about it all. These events, these acts of violence being committed against people, those are not just distractions to keep us away from other things. Those are real. And they should not pull us away from our God. For me, instead, the distraction has been the feeling of crippling fear as I've thought about what these texts could say to us this week after these events. The distraction has been dwelling in the prayer of, why God? When perhaps God might just be telling me, and in fact telling us, that we are still called to be the church in dark days, as we always have been. That we are still called to proclaim God's love in the midst of a whole lot of hate. But do we get it yet? The disciples sure did, as we'll find out next week when we celebrate Pentecost. All of the time gathered together both in and out of Jesus' physical presence prepared them for the hard work of ministry. It prepared them to be sent to far-flung places and sent to places close to home, so that they could tell the world that Rome did not win, that sin, death, and hatred did not win, and that what mattered was living and loving in ways that would unify their very diverse world, the early church, and that Jesus will do as he promised. He will come again and bring all to him in the resurrection. So I ask us again here today, do we get it yet? Are we looking forward to the missions to which God is calling us as the people of God at Trinity Lutheran Church? I think we do a pretty great job of being disciples in the ways Jesus has called us, in caring for the most vulnerable among us, in raising our children to be loving and caring disciples in their own ways, and in serving neighbors near and far who need to know that someone, in fact many someones, have gathered to pray for and to serve them. Now we don't and we won't always get it right or do things perfectly. We have some really hard stuff in our lives, and we have some things, big or small, that distract us from being church. And we may even feel like all that we do is for naught sometimes. But be assured that when we are distracted, or feeling like God and Jesus Christ has gone up into the clouds only to let us flounder, that God is still moving and acting among us. God is still doing good works through us as we share the joys and trials of our lives as disciples with each other. And it is God who is forever calling us to be the body of Christ, as one in mission for the sake of a world that so often needs reminding that in Christ dying, rising, and ascending for us, we have been given new life. A new life where all that is counter to God's intentions for the world will never win the day or distract us from God's unconditional love, from the God who gathers and sends us out as a people made for love and service. We can keep looking up all that we want, just like the disciples did in those moments after Jesus ascended. But we do that knowing God will keep moving us forward, preparing us for whatever His Spirit will do next. Amen.